Okay, next, we're going to talk about where our state spends its money. The book gives broad averages across the country, which are interesting to look at. We're going to look at some interesting countrywide numbers. We looked at sales tax across the country. Um, but I'm more concerned with my dollar. Yeah, I pay a fair chunk of income tax, the highest percentage in the nation. I pay 1 penny more, in sales tax than any other state. They take a penny more off each one of my purchases. Where's that money going? I pay a high percentage of income tax. Where's that money going? And, well, each state spends its money differently. Some in California, we spend the most money on K through 12 education. Yeah, the federal government gives money in education. I think we saw it was like 4% of the federal budget or something along these lines goes to education, but they don't pay for my salary. The state does. Okay, they don't pay for the large majority of money that is used to run schools, colleges. It comes from the state. The federal government gives money, and that money goes to things like low-income schools. And of course, we also know they give things like free lunches for low-income people. These last few years during the coronavirus, they're giving free lunches for everyone. I mentioned that my daughters are in LAUSD. They both come home with big bags of food every day, and on the weekends, it's overwhelming. Thanks, LAUSD. But take it easy on the juice. Why so much juice? Okay, I'm sorry. It's a personal thing. And my students here in class, they get free lunch every day. They grab and go, pick it up, eat for free. It's great. Thank you. I mean, it's really great. Our young people eating should be a priority, I think. Making sure they can eat. So look, here's our spending. We spent 80, or during this chart, I don't know exactly which year it was. We spent $60 billion on K through 12 education. It's a lot, but it's an investment in our future. Young people are the future, and by educating them, we make sure that they have jobs and that they can make good money, and that they can come up with great ideas and start companies and hopefully stay in California and help enrich our state and create jobs for our states and do great things, be doctors and lawyers and help our state. Thank you. We they say that money in education is the best investment that the government makes, that the income tax the government gets back in the lifetime of a worker is more than it invests in the education of a student. And sales tax and all the taxes. We also spend in this chart this year, I don't know what year it was, $20 billion or $17 billion on higher education. That's college. Okay, and if you look here, you'll find that each K through 12 student that I teach, and my daughters, they cost the state $10,000 a year. Understand that this money, this $10,000 a year also creates jobs like my job, like not only the 40,000 teachers in our city, but principals, administrative people in downtown and on Beaudry, and janitors and cafeteria workers. And each school has like a really incredibly high budget. I mean, you'd be surprised. I am not on the budgetary committee, but I hear them throwing around numbers like tens of millions of dollars, 20 plus, sometimes more than that I've heard. $1 million per school. So these are jobs which get taxed, and some of it ends up back in Sacramento, and some of it goes into the circular flow of the economy and helps out the local community. And my small little neighborhood over there gets my money, and then neighborhoods all over the city. But yeah, it costs taxpayers $10,000 a year for 13 years, including kindergarten. Each community college student, and I am a community college student, I spent 2 years at community college, costs the state $6,000 a year. So college is not free. California is very generous to its college students. In a lot of states, they don't give as much money, their college is much more expensive. If you go to a CSU school, which I did, see Sun represent, Matador for life, you're going to get $13,000 a year from the state. Thank you, California. You paid for my $130,000 worth of K through 12 public education. You gave me 2 years of community college, and it turns out to be with my master's program and credentials, I spent probably 5 years in CSUN, or maybe 4. I mean, you gave me a lot of money, and I'm giving back now. But thank you, right? CSU UC students. This is UCLA. I'm not, so I'm not that great. I'm not CSU. No offense, I love UCLA. I love UC schools. I hope my daughters go there. $32,000 a year, though, for these schools. The state pays out of pocket. Please, UCLA, Santa Barbara, San Diego, Irvine. Take my daughters. Let's not have them at CSU. No, let's go to UC. UC is better. I wish I could have done it. Didn't have the money. And here's an interesting side fact. So let's move on. I have this down here, and I want to talk about it in a second. But okay, let's just, for fun, let's jump here. Jail. Our state spends $12.5 billion jailing people, and that costs the state $80,000 a year to jail a person. So you're mad about us, you're mad about the $10,000 a year for the K through 12, but you're cool to spend $80,000 a year to jail someone when half those people in jail are in jail for drug crimes? Really? You say, really? Is this all about drugs, Marina? Well, the war on drugs started in earnest in the 70s and picked up heavily in the 80s. Look at that. Yeah. And recently, California has voted to not jail drug users who are caught with just possession. And look at that. We're already seeing numbers go down. They say, well, we'll send them to counseling. We don't want to send them to jail. It will be cheaper. And it will be better for them to get counseling instead of go to jail for drug use. And of course, we know that in California, marijuana is legal nowadays. Marijuana for a long time was the #1 drug that people were getting busted and going to jail for. Now it's other drugs. And you can have your own opinion. Oregon just decriminalized all drugs. California, of course, if you get busted for anything other than marijuana, you will go to jail. I don't know, that's right. What do you think? But look, we have almost 175,000 in peak years, and now we're down to about 120, 110,000 people in jail. And of course, you have to have that opinion, right? Like, I don't know what the right call is. Should we be spending that much money to jail people? Where should you cut it off? Who do you jail? Do you want to jail, drug users, or do you want to just jail violent criminals, or you want to jail? I don't know who you want to jail. Who belongs in jail? I don't know. I mean, I think I know. I know what I think, but what do you think? It doesn't matter what I think. Anyways, it's just an interesting comparison. We hear it thrown around. Us teachers. Yeah, it costs, you want to keep a kid out of jail, give them a good education, $10,000 a year, and they won't end up here. Especially if you're not busting them for possession of drugs. We're not, maybe they should be, who knows. How much do we pay per student versus other states? Are we incredibly generous to our K through 12 students? No, we're not. Actually, California is on the cheap end of the scale of our states when it comes to a 13-year average of how much we pay for our K through 12. Now, this doesn't count college. And California colleges are cheaper. We give more to colleges than other states do. Colleges used to be free, I think, in the 70s in California. We've had to add some money because of whatever state budget issues, but we do not. We are not even middle of the road. Here's middle of the road as to how much we spend per student on K through 12 education. And again, the college thing is different. Let's get back to this chart just for fun. We'll finish this one up. Health and Human Services, $40 billion a year. A lot of that is Medi-Cal. Yeah, there's Medicare, Medicaid, right? At the federal level, we have Medi-Cal, and we give free health insurance, I think, to like all low-income Californians under 18. Keep the young people healthy. We get 3.5, we spent 3.5 billion on natural resources. I don't know how that works. Another 12 billion on all the other stuff combined, which is tons of little categories. But yeah, that's it, right? That's where we spend our money. And again, I keep saying this, and I'm a broken record as a teacher, but we have a governor named Gavin Newsom, and he just recently came out and said he wants to try to give free TK, free pre-K, like preschool for kids 4 and under, and that's going to cost another $10,000 a year. Do you support it? He thinks it's important. If you support it, vote for the guy, right? If you don't, if you have a problem with giving 4-year-olds preschool for free, vote against the guy. Well, that's one of the factors. Of course, you'll have to weigh way more than just education spending, but your vote determines how our dollars are spent, and a lot of other things. But at the state level especially, budgeting and our biggest expenditure is education, is a big part of the governor's job. And when you hear our governor speak, and you hear him talk about how he's going to spend our tax dollars, we get taxed pretty well. If you agree with him, keep voting that man in, or other people who speak like him. And if you don't, choose someone else.